Ready to get started?
Yes.
All right, let's roll.
Okay, hello guys. My name is Israel Harrington, and I'm in the professional school counseling program here at Pembroke. I've been in the program for about 2 years now, and I finished in May 2018. And I'm actually also a counselor intern at Rex Renner Elementary. I've also been there for about a year now, and I really love the profession as you guys do. Teaching kids is my passion. Well, helping kids is my passion. I want to make sure that they're successful in their as you want to also help them also. That's enough about it. That's a little bit about me.
2 extra if you'll send it to the back row. Thank you very much. All right, and good morning, everyone. My name is Jonathan Riggs, and I am from the professional school counseling program. I'm one of the faculty members in the program over in the School of Education, and we are excited that we were invited to come talk with you today. Was it okay for us to get started? I wasn't sure. I didn't want to just run. Okay. We were excited to be invited to speak with you about a topic that we both think is pretty important, just in daily life, but also we think this topic of mindfulness is something that can really benefit us in terms of handling strong emotions or working through difficult emotions that might come up. So we understand that you all are educators or training to be educators and are getting ready to embark or finish up your program or your certification process. And we thought mindfulness would be a great topic to talk to you about as you work through studying, preparing, and passing your praxis examination. So we wanted to get a feel for who you all are. Do we have any people who are already teachers in the room? So we've got a few people who are already teachers. Awesome. Anybody who's still in undergraduate? All right. So you're still working on your degree, and so any student teachers, interns yet? Awesome. Okay. So what are some things that are coming to mind as you think about taking the praxis and finishing up your programs and getting your complete certification? What are some thoughts that come to your mind? Or some emotions that might come up when you think about that whole process?
Getting started.
What's that?
Getting started.
Getting started.
Mine is just getting started and just getting my mind frame ready for the test.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the expert on the test.
Gotcha.
I'm not a good test taker.
Okay.
My breathing does speed up and my heart rate does.
Wow.
I'm not a good test taker.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. So getting that whole process, and that process can seem pretty long and so many steps. And then also you mentioned some of your physical symptoms that you notice as you're in a testing environment. So that's definitely something we think we can address with mindfulness. What are some other things? Thank you so much for sharing. What are some other things that come to you all as you think about taking the praxis?
Well, just stress and wondering where you're going to find the time, to cram it all in. I'm in a graduate program. I'm teaching school every day, full time. Been trying to plan and find time, and lots of anxiety. The teacher across the hall, she keeps not passing it, so that don't help me. So.
Yeah. So stress, I heard anxiety, I heard grad school teaching, and then on top of that there's life.
Yeah.
Like where does all that fit in? How does this all work?
Trying to balance it.
And balancing this juggling act, and then you've got this friend or this colleague who is constantly maybe reminding you of how difficult the journey is. So definitely hear you there. Mindfulness, we think, is something that might be able to help you with that as well. Any others? Maybe one more experience or something that comes up inside of you as you think about this exam and in this certification process as a whole, if anyone would like to share. Well, I know Israel is one of my interns this semester, and he's got the praxis coming up. So I didn't know if you wanted to share at all about some of the things that you're feeling, because I know that you and I have talked, and we talk about it in internship a lot. All of our students are getting ready for the praxis, and we're hearing a lot of the same things that you all have shared in here today.
Well,
what are you feeling?
My feeling is, I haven't really thought about it, but I know I'm going to have to take the test. So, but most of the time, like she said, the time to study for, I haven't even brought it into my daily schedule because I have so many other things going on. I'm trying to focus on my internships, making action plans, I'm wrapped around so much stuff in my regular job, so I haven't even put the practices in my mind. But I have made like a timeline when I would try to study for it, which was Christmas break. That's how I was
Okay.
gonna put it in my time frame.
All right.
So I know I have to pass it. I have to take it also. So
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing.
okay, guys. Today some of the objectives we're gonna go over are exploring the impact of certain emotions on our body and behavior. So as you said, we're gonna talk about how the effects of our body might change when we're stressed out about something. Also, we're going to develop a plan for taking care of ourselves. So we're going to teach you strategies of how to take care of yourselves before the test, okay? Also, we're going to learn the basic components of mindfulness. And we're also going to have you guys get engaged with practicing mindfulness, okay?
So that's kind of our skeleton agenda for today we think it's very important that we first start to recognize the feelings and emotions that we have, which we've already started talking a bit about. We also think it's really important that we plan to take care of ourselves, because if not, we won't. A lot of the times we'll forget that step, and that step's really important in our lives. And then we're going to jump into the mindfulness piece and practice. So hopefully you can leave here today with a couple activities that you can use at home or in the car or wherever you find yourself, so that you can practice this powerful technique.
Okay, guys. If you see on your pages, we're going to talk about our body's natural response. How many guys have heard of fight or flight? Okay. Can someone tell me what they think it is? Body.
Well, when you're in a stressful situation, you're either always gonna fight or you're gonna flee from it. You're
Exactly.
either always gonna, one of the two,
Exactly.
make it work.
Exactly. They say fight or flight is when we respond when our body feels threatened about something. So like I said, we either fight or flee. And we do this for survival. In old times, they actually made a connection between saber-tooth tigers and cavemen. He either had to, when he saw like a cave or like a saber-tooth tiger, he either had to run or fight it for his survival. And that's what our bodies are doing when we're faced with a stressful situation. It could be anything. Like you could be talking in front of people, you taking your test. It could be riding a roller coaster. It could be any stressful event. And what our body is doing is telling us that our body is stressed and it wants us to get relaxed. And some of the emotions that may appear when we're in a stressful situation are our blood pressure might go up, our heart rate begins to go up, and our breathing gets real fast, or you might feel stomach pains. But usually these behaviors last about maybe 20 to 60 minutes, but as I said, our body is letting us know that we're stressed and it wants us to calm down. So our blood pressure can go down, as well as our heart rate and our breathing. And on this page, it shows you the body. And I want you to take a second and look at it and tell me some of the areas that when you're stressed out, where do you feel these emotions? Because I know for me, I feel it in my heart or my chest, because I'm really actually breathing hard right now. Sometimes I feel it in my head, my hands. And it's really hard for me to calm down, but I know after those 60 minutes are over, my body is telling me that it's relaxed now. So like I say, if you can please look at the page and just jot down where you feel stressed at, and we can share. You guys ready? If anyone who wants to volunteer the area they get stressed out, and maybe you can share with me some of the emotions you feel, that'd be good. Yes, ma'am.
When I'm taking tests, I realize that I get really tense and I like carry it in my shoulders and or my neck, and I'll go to turn my neck and realize that it's like stuck. I mean, I don't even realize how, like, that I'm like this basically.
Okay.
Which I think just does everything. I get like a tension headache.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
So it sort of spirals into more and more.
Yeah, you don't like realize that until you go to like move, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been like this.
I have similar that as well. I've seen that as well with my own personal self when I take tests. You don't realize you get to that place until you're there, and then you just
Yeah.
and then at that point, like you said, a headache.
And then
might
the
be coming
headache's
on.
there and it's not going away.
Yeah.
I remember when I took my comprehensive exam. Mind you, it was really early in the morning, so I was fine. Like I had a good breakfast, I was fine. But on that drive there, my stomach started hurting. I was like, well, go at a great time, for my stomach to start hurting. So that I was definitely feeling it, and I knew it was gonna happen. So,
Yeah.
so that's something I feel.
Thank you so much. What are some other parts that you all? Where are some other areas that you all feel these high emotions?
Heart,
Heart.
my heart is speed up.
So your pulse is moving
Yes.
faster now. Awesome. How about your breathing? Do you notice anything with your breathing around in that same?
I try to, a guy, one of my professors at RCC some years back, when I take the sociology test with him, he would tell us to close our eyes and count to 10 or vision yourself on an island or somewhere. But I've tried some of those techniques while taking those tests. I do kind of like try to relax, but I do feel myself, my hands kind of like get all sweaty, clammy feeling.
And does that like kind of throw you off? Like, were you
Yeah,
expecting
and then
it?
my mind's just like blown. I'm like, and then I have to remind myself, I got this.
Yes, ma'am.
There you go.
Got it.
Oh, you said some really
Yeah.
good.
Train.
You have some good techniques
Yes.
there. That positive self-talk can go a really long way.
It's like, I used to work in a doctor's office, and my supervisor should say, on your way to work, she said, tell yourself you can do this. She said, your brain is like a computer. Just constantly tell yourself you can do this. You can
Awesome.
do this. And it actually works. That's like the class I'm in now, currently with some students. Unfamiliar area, a new journey, a new phase in my life, working with TMH students, EC. And I'm like, God, I can do this. I said, you open this door for me. I can do this. I've got this. You're with me. So it's working. It's working.
Awesome.
Good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Did you?
Yeah, sometimes I accidentally hold my breath and I don't know that I'm holding my breath.
Don't realize.
And also I get, my body temperature goes up, but I don't notice it until I'm already sweating. And I'm like, wait, the room is cool. I don't know what is happening right now.
Yep.
And thankfully it doesn't last long, but I don't know it until the effect is already there. But then it kind of throws me off because I start thinking, oh, now I'm embarrassed because I'm sweating. And now I'm breathing hard because I was holding my breath and I'm about to do a presentation. So it is like a chain of events that I don't notice until it's already activated.
Exactly.
So that's an awesome point. Mindfulness is something we're going to learn to be mindful of our bodies and our body's responses. So hopefully we can catch it before it gets there. Because you're right, these things can happen so fast and it's a chain reaction. And naturally in our bodies, our blood vessels automatically constrict when we get stressed. And that alone is sort of biological, out of our control type deal that causes a lot of these symptoms. And it could be sweaty palms, sweating all over the place, flushing all in the face, and that can just pile on and make more and more things. So I'm glad you mentioned all of those things, because a lot of the times it's not in our consciousness that we're doing that. And that's important, that we are working to be mindful of our bodies and working to catch that before we get there, and hopefully intercept some of that stuff. Any others before we?
I can't stop moving.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Which is not on the list, but.
Like
it's moving.
super, like moving
I'm
everything
just
on your
moving,
desk,
just
and your
constantly
pen,
moving.
twitching in your seats. I hear
Yeah.
you. So that's definitely another thing that could be part of your reaction to this strong emotion that's going on. The paper says stress, but it's not only stress. It could be anxiety, it could be fear, it could be so many different emotions that we're all different people, so we all can feel different things. Anybody ever have the fight or flight when they think about going to take the praxis? Hopefully you won't flight. Hopefully you'll go in and
pay too much money to fly.
Practice some of the tips
Yeah.
y'all are talking about.
Gotta stay.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
to make you pay for it. Make you go take it.
So let's talk about mindfulness. What do you all already know? Do you know anything about mindfulness? Have you heard about mindfulness? It's kind of grown in popularity lately. I'm just curious to see what you already think about it.
Just being aware of your thoughts.
Very good. Being aware of your thoughts
In
is
your body.
important. Your body. Yes. This total awareness, state of awareness. Thank you. Any other things that you already know about mindfulness? Usually when I ask this, they're like, oh, meditation, hum, close your eyes, and that kind of thing. And that can be part of mindfulness, but it's not a required part of mindfulness. But really, you all have hit it. It's this awareness of what's going on. So it's been around for a while. In '79, it was created as the Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction Program. There was a clinic that was created. This program is still being used today. It's been tweaked now, and it's used with teenagers and younger people. It started out as a combo of meditation and yoga, and it's still today. A lot of mindfulness practices do include meditation and yoga, but it doesn't have to have just those things. But lots of research has been done on mindfulness, and mindfulness has been found to be very helpful in helping people reduce their stress and anxiety, pain management. People who are in chronic pain, mindfulness has been helpful there, as well as people who are going through addictions and trying to recover from addictions, as well as depression. So there's a lot of research that shows mindfulness is a practice that can help us. So simply put, it's being present in our daily life. That's what mindfulness is. And that includes being present with those around you and with what you're doing. So being completely present in the now, in the here and now, and trying your best to have all of the other things that are coming into our world or into our mind blocked out of ourselves. So only being present to what we're doing now. We use this a lot. We start when we're training about mindfulness. We start with focusing on our breathing because that's a natural thing that we all do. And if we can focus on our breathing, then that gives us something to put our mind and our attention to so that we can block out some other things. So a really important part of mindfulness is self-compassion, taking care of yourself, not beating yourself up when things don't go right, not talking negatively to yourself. When we practice mindfulness, we'll in a minute do that, and we're going to really just focus on our breathing, what our breathing feels like, what our breathing sounds like. But you'll notice, because you're humans, that as you're doing that, other thoughts are going to kind of come into your head, almost like waves, right? Something you have to do later today, maybe something that went on last night, something that's on your mind. These things are just going to kind of float around. And that's okay. Don't be mad or mean to yourself. Oh, I'm supposed to be mindful. And these thoughts are cramming in my head. That's okay. All you need to do is just simply, gently to yourself, go back to your breathing. What does it sound like? What does it feel like? And in a 5-minute span, you have a good 30 thoughts flying in your head. And that's okay. Each time, bring it back to your breathing. What does it sound like? What does it feel like? And as you practice this, you'll notice those thoughts will stop floating as much as they are. So let's practice for,
I got one disclaimer. When I practiced it in the office with him, I started thinking about food. So
yeah,
it's
so
okay.
food jumped in his mind.
It's okay to think about other things.
Let's just take a minute and practice and see what this is like for you. What I'd like for you to do is to just simply focus on the breathing as it comes in your nose or your mouth. I'm not going to ask you to breathe in a certain way. What does it sound like to think about to yourself? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? And try to see if you can not have any other thoughts in your mind. And if they do come in your mind, just come back to your breathing and focus on your breathing. I just want to see what that experience is like for you for a minute. So if you'll close your eyes and just breathe like you would normally breathe and focus on that breath. What does it feel like? What does it sound like to you? And try to focus on nothing but that breath in and out. Maybe the way it feels in your abdomen as it comes in and as it goes out. Maybe the way it feels in your nose or your mouth as you breathe in and as you breathe out. But try to focus just on that breathing. And when you're comfortable, you can rejoin us and open your eyes. So what was that experience like for you all? Relaxing. What did you say in the rest?
That was beautiful.
Beautiful. All right. Were there thoughts floating in there?
Not much.
That's
It's pretty
wonderful.
early on a Saturday. I don't think that much on a Saturday.
Did anyone notice, every once in a while a thought kind of come into your mind?
One thought that came to me was, I think we were talking about stress.
Uh-huh.
One of the things that really stresses me is when we go to Walmart or somewhere like that, and you see the little thing where you stick your arm in there, little cup,
Mm-hmm.
and my blood pressure automatically goes up because I'm kind of panicking. I wonder what my numbers are.
Yeah.
So that's one thought that came to me, is because that's the type of breathing I'll start practicing.
Oh,
is
okay.
Trying to calm myself down to bring my blood pressure down a little bit.
Okay.
And it was a similar thought like that. I said, go, get away.
So that came into your mind
Yeah.
as we were doing this minute. Thank you for sharing. And was it hard for you to kind of bring it back to your breathing?
No, because I enjoyed the breathing, so it's like,
Good.
So it seems like we take our breathing for granted. Granted that we have to breathe every day, but who really takes the time to sit down and breathe unless we're told to do it, Maybe we should something we should practice on our own. So I think that's what being mindful is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just thought of that. But,
Any other comments on what that was like for you as far as trying to be mindful of nothing but your breathing for 1 minute?
Well, I label things when it comes to my mind.
Okay.
But I naturally know that because I went to a meditation class. So
Okay.
they said to label it and then let it go.
Yeah. So that's what you were doing, kind of
Yeah,
compartmentalizing
because
things.
food came on my mind. I said, okay, food, and then I let it go,
Good.
and then I started breathing again.
Good. So it didn't take you long.
told you food face.
So it does take practice because we do have thoughts, and it's okay when the thoughts come in. So we don't want you to be mean into yourself. A lot of times in the traditional meditation exercises, some of the research says that people give up because they're not able to really zone completely out. And we know that that's difficult. And so with mindfulness, we really are focused on self-compassion. It's okay if you aren't able to 100% become aware and present. Just constantly or be actively engaged in bringing yourself back to whatever it is that you're focusing on. In this example, our breathing. Okay?
Okay. Now this slide says, "Do you take care of you?" And you can flip along with me on the next page. It says self-care versus being selfish. Now, though these words do sound similar, there's a big difference. Being selfish, well, matter of fact, how would you define being selfish, someone? How would you define being selfish?
About yourself.
Think about yourself, okay.
Selfish to your body, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it not eating the right foods?
Okay. One more. Anyone wants to explain? Not enough sleep? Got it.
Right.
Well, the correlation this page is trying to make is you have to take care of yourself, and that's not being selfish to your body, because your body needs all these you need the proper tactics to help your body get to where it needs to be, and that's totally not being selfish. Now, being selfish might be eating up all the pizza and not sharing. Though that's good for your body, it's not. It's being selfish, but it also helps your body. But some things you can do to take care of your body, which are not selfish, are eating healthy foods, as you said, is telling good things to yourself. Getting enough sleep, even asking for help. Those are not selfish. You never can ask for too much help, And you also want to set realistic goals for yourself. All these things are are battling against being selfish. And you also need to practice self-care. And some self-care tactics you can take are, just, self-care. Doing something you like to do for fun. So that's a big practice of self-care.
Yeah, and we think, we see you as educators very similar to us as counselors. We are always giving and trying to help people. And a lot of times we put ourselves on the back burner. And because we're trying to give so much to our students, and we do that with our students too and our clients, and it's almost like we have to work into our calendar self-care, because if we don't, at the end of the week we'll look back and we'll say, gosh, this was a whirlwind of a week and I didn't do anything for myself. And if you've been on an airplane, they always tell you to put your mask on before you start helping other people, because you've got to take care of yourself in order to help other people. So you're not going to be able to teach, and you're not going to be able to support your family and help your family if you are totally burnt out and unhealthy. So we wanted to make sure that in line with our self-compassion focus, that we brought that to your attention. Make sure that we're finding time to take care of ourselves. Make sure that we are, one thing I do every day, and it's kind of easy, a little bit cheesy, but when I'm driving home in the evening after class, there's this one little store on the road. I'm going to Hope Mills from Pembroke, and there's this little store, and when I get to that store, that's the last point that I allow myself to think about my work that day. Okay, I bet, because when I leave, you're thinking about your work. I'm thinking about research. I'm thinking about students. I'm thinking about what I've got to grade. But when I get to that store, I say, all right, that's it. Block the rest of that out of my mind for the rest of the night, and I'll pick it up tomorrow and start thinking about it. So something simple where you can just remind yourself to really not completely give constantly, because you can't. We can't burn the candle at both ends. We won't be any good to ourselves or to our students or the other folks that are in our lives. So sometimes people, especially us, you all and us, because we are helpers and we are trying to help, we don't want to be selfish. We might think, well, that's mighty selfish. I want to help my students the most that I can, and there might be a struggle with you and taking this approach of looking out for you. But we don't think it's selfish, and hopefully you understand the importance of taking care of yourself is actually the opposite of being selfish, because you're able to do more now if you take care of yourself. So it's really not being selfish at all. How many of you currently now are actively making sure you do something for you? Good. I'm so glad to see that. That's awesome. That's not always what we see when we're talking to teachers and counselors and principals and people who are in our field, because there's just so much giving and that we do. So please continue that. If you didn't raise your hand, please think of a plan that you can enact immediately, because
Okay.
that's important.
I just thought of another good example. It says on this page, like I said, making time for yourself is not selfish. So maybe you just want to decide one day that you want to just dedicate a day totally towards studying, and someone might be calling your phone, wanting to hang out, and they're, you kind of just blowing them off because you want to focus on focus on studying, and they might try to make you feel bad. So that's making time for yourself. And also, I guess I can make this connection to the heart. On this page, it's showing the heart, and it's asking you, what are your thoughts and your feelings? Maybe in your mind, you might think that thought of blowing your friend off is a bad thought or a bad feeling you have towards your friend, but it's a feeling that's, helping you in life. So what I want to know from you guys is, what kind of heart do you think you have? Is your heart empty? Is it full? You have a good heart? And, if your heart is empty or any of those things, what I want you to do is consider doing more things for yourself. So once you guys can work on that, and then like we can share later, okay?
So think about what is in your heart. Is it full of emotion? Is it full of happiness, stress, a little bit of everything? Is there more of something that you think it needs to have to make yourself feel more balanced? Those are some things to think about. All right, so we're going to move into the first sort of part of mindfulness. And the first thing that you want to do as you are practicing a mindfulness technique at home or wherever you decide to do it is to center yourself, or sometimes we call it arrive. So arrive to the place where you're going to be, actually arrive your body, not necessarily come sit down, but inside and mentally arrive. So the first thing that you would do would pause for a moment. Okay, if you're bustling into class or you're bustling into the test and you're waiting in line to check in, pause for a moment once you get there. Look around and notice things. First of all, the things that you can see. Figure out 5 things as a suggestion that you see in the room, and really be mindful of those things. This is just you checking in and arriving and centering yourself. Then listen really carefully and notice 5 things that you hear. And just take a moment to hear those things. And then think about 5 things that you can feel. If you're sitting down, wherever you're practicing this, maybe the way it feels to your feet on the floor, the chair, the table, your hands on each other or on your abdomen. This is called centering yourself and arriving. Here's some other ways to do this. It's also called grounding. And this is with any intense emotions. And it's also sort of like a thought stopper type activity. So if you find yourself in the test and you start feeling these feelings come on and it's spiraling and you're worried you're going to get too far away to do your best, some of these could be helpful. First of all, the body, if you're able to lay on the ground, if you're at home, that might be an activity to ground yourself. Or if you're sitting in your chair, press your toes in the floor. That can really bring your awareness to where you are in the room and how you feel to the floor. Squeeze something. An example here is Play-Doh. Think about your senses. Here's an example of wearing something that's your favorite clothing. Essential oils could help. A lot of people benefit from that. Cup of tea. Self-soothe if you're able to do that. Take a shower if you're feeling really strong emotions and you want to intercept those and ground yourself. Find any type of object that is special to you. Light a candle. Describe an object in detail. Like actually find an object and overanalyze that object in terms of its color and its light and its shape. Some people even take pictures of things and keep a log there or a written log about it. You can practice breathing. This is the 4-7-8 technique. There are lots of breathing techniques, but inhaling to 4, holding it for 7, and then exhaling for 8 seconds. That can help you ground yourself. And then the distraction's always a good thing to try. If you feel yourself feeling anxious or stressed or any intense emotion, you can, find all the square things in the room or find all the green objects in the room. Count by 7s in your head. Think about what's today's date. Anything like that can get your mind sort of off of the strong emotion that you're having at that time. So we want to take you on a mindfulness breathing practice, a little bit more of an in-depth practice this time than we did when we did our first 1-minute training. We want to see what your thoughts are and how this works for you. So if you will, you've arrived to this place, to this room today. If you could try your best to get yourself as comfortable as possible in your chair. I know it's only so possible to get comfortable, but try to get yourself as comfortable as you can. And we're going to practice being mindful, and we're going to start with our breathing. Okay. So if you are comfortable, if you will close your eyes and kind of get yourself as comfortable as possible. This guided meditation on the breath will help you learn to simply be and look within yourself with mindfulness. Allow yourself to switch from the usual mode of doing to a mode of not doing, of simply being. Sitting in an erect posture on the straight back of your chair. As you allow your body to become still, bring your attention to the fact that you are breathing. Become aware of the moment of your breath as it comes into your body and as it leaves your body. Not manipulating the breath in any way or trying to change it. Simply be aware of it and of the feelings associated with breathing. Observe the breath deep down in your belly, feeling the abdomen as it expands gently on the in-breath, and then as it falls back towards your spine on the out-breath. Being totally here in each moment with each breath. Not trying to do anything. Not trying to get any place. Simply being right here with your breath. Giving full care and attention to each breath in and to each out breath, as they follow one after the other in a never-ending cycle. You'll find again that from time to time, your mind will wander off into thought. When you notice that your attention's no longer here or no longer on your breathing, without judging yourself, bring your attention back to your breathing and ride the waves of your breathing. Fully conscious of the length of each breath from moment to moment. Every time you find your mind wandering off the breath, gently bringing it back to the present. Back to that moment to moment observing of the flow of your breathing. Use your breath as an anchor to focus your attention, to bring you back to the present whenever you notice that your mind is becoming absorbed or reactive. Using your breath to help you tune into a state of relaxed awareness and stillness. Now, as you observe your breathing, you may find from time to time that you're becoming aware of other sensations in your body. As you maintain awareness of your breathing, see if it's possible to expand your field of awareness so that it includes a sense of your body as a whole as you sit there. Feeling your body from head to toe. Become aware of all the sensations in your body, so that now you're observing not only the flow of your breathing, but you have a sense of your whole body. Continue to establish your awareness on your body as a whole and on the breath as it moves in and out of your body. Coming back to a sense of fullness of each breath and the fullness of each out breath. If you find yourself at any time or into a stream of thinking and you notice that you're no longer observing your breath, just using your breathing and the sense of your body to anchor you and stabilize you in the present. Just being with your breathing from moment to moment, just sitting in stillness looking for nothing, being present to all, just as it is, just as it unfolds, just being right here, right now, complete, human, whole. As this practice comes to an end, you may give yourself credit for having spent time nourishing yourself in a deep way by dwelling in this state of non-doing, in this state of being, for having intentionally made time for yourself and simply be who you are. As you move back into the world, allow the benefits of this practice to expand into every aspect of your life. And as you feel comfortable, you can rejoin us in the room and open your eyes.
Now that one was a little longer, guys.
What are your thoughts on that?
At one point when I was finally focused, I actually felt like my shoulders relaxed. I mean, like a physical, like I felt like I was slumping, but really just my whole, just like let go.
That's wonderful. Glad to hear that. Thank you. Any other thoughts from that activity?
In a sense, you feel refreshed.
You feel refreshed? Awesome. Thank you. Glad to hear that. How many of you actually spend time not doing? You know, that was time not thinking, really, not doing other things, but just inside yourself.
And my mom was getting a basket to take back to class. That's one thing that floated in my mind.
Okay,
I'd be focused.
gotcha. And that was only 5 minutes. So that's something that we can, I think, work in our day or work in our weekly schedule quite easily, I think. It was only 5 minutes. It may have seemed longer to some of you, but it wasn't a very long exercise. So that is the breathing practice, or the breathing type of mindfulness, which is really important because you're trying to bring yourself to a total state of awareness, and you're trying to block out some of the unhealthy or thoughts and emotions that bring discomfort to us. I see that we're running low on time, so we'll just quickly, you can do lots of different types of mindfulness, guided imagery. Some people mentioned in here earlier, basically having a favorite place that you like to go to and kind of closing your eyes and taking a mental trip to that place. For me, it's always the beach. And if I'm in a really stressful state, or if I'm taking a test and I get pretty anxious, I'll just take a 2-minute trip to the beach and close my eyes and think about the waves and smell the salt water and figure out what realize what the sand feels like. And that's what guided imagery is, and that's another type of mindfulness. You can do this sitting, you can do this walking. Some people would rather be walking while they are being in a total state of mindfulness.
Want me to talk about it?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, basically, real fast, what this walking meditation is, you're gonna, it's called a walking rainbow. And what you do is, the colors of the rainbow are royal blue, red, orange, yellow. So what you do is you find an object, you're gonna go in order, find a red object or orange object. And you can just go in order and find every color until you're done with your walk. You can also take a picture of this item, you can journal this item, or you can just draw it if you're an artist. So that's basically what it is. And then see how it makes you feel once it's done, once you do it. I actually want to practice it myself because it sounds really fun. And I don't know if I can find all the colors, but it would be interesting if I could.
And then there's the mindful hand exercises that you can do.
And that's also, as he said, squeezing your hands and releasing the tension, playing with Play-Doh, or squeezing a stress ball. I guess my mindful exercise would be playing my PS4.
Spend a lot of time on the game, right?
Yeah.
And that's okay with manageable amounts. If not, we'll have another issue to talk about. But mindful writing, spending time actually just writing about a certain topic, maybe writing about your current awareness. Mindful awareness and breathing are very similar to what we just did. We spent some time working on our breathing, and we were aware. We were working on being aware. And that becomes less laborious when we practice. The more that we practice, the easier that becomes to us, the mindfulness piece. We don't have to hear the script the more that we practice this. We can just kind of close our eyes and go to our breathing and do this on our own. One thing that we did want to mention is YouTube is a great resource. There's lots of mindfulness scripts. If you like to hear the script and the person reading the script are telling you what to do, you can just go to YouTube and search for mindfulness scripts, and you can hear them, and they'll tell you different things. Some people put this on their cell phone as they're walking or as they're running, and it helps them practice mindfulness as well. The last one we wanted to do is a little bit of a shorter activity. Israel is going to walk you through the body scan meditation. So let's see this kind of different twist on a mindfulness activity. Okay.
Everybody, if you will, close your eyes and get comfortable once again. I'll try to be smooth and slow as I can. Not too slow, though. Gotcha. So this is the body scan meditation to cultivate mindfulness. So begin by bringing close attention to your bodies. You can close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. Now, notice your body seated wherever you're seated, and feel the weight of your body on the chair, on the floor. Now, take a few deep breaths, and as you take this deep breath, bring as much oxygen in your body as you can. And as you exhale, have a sense of relaxing more deeply. Now, you may notice your feet on the floor, but I also want you to notice the sensation of your feet touching the floor, the weight, the pressure, vibration, and the heat. And you may notice your legs against the chair, the pressure it gives you, the pulsing, heaviness, and lightness. Now notice your backs against the chair. Bring your bring your attention to your stomach area. If your stomach is tense or tight, I want you to let your stomach soften and take a deep breath. Now notice your hands. Are your hands tense or are they tight? If you can, let them soften. Now, move to your arms. Feel the sensation in your arms and allow them to be soft. Now move to your neck and your throat and let them be soft. And I want you to relax. Now move to your jaws and try as best as you can to release the tension in your face and your facial muscles and let them also be soft. Now try as best as you can to bring all that together and let your whole body be present. And allow yourself to take one more breath. Doing as best as you can to be aware of your whole body. Take another deep breath. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Guys feel any different?
We're trying to put you to sleep this morning, aren't we? So we know that, Israel, because of time, we're going to skip last.
Okay.
But we did want to make sure you all remember to have fun. There's just a little activity there. We know that's what teachers are all about, fun, right? So please have some of that fun in your life. But just thinking ahead, any ideas on how you might be able to use this mindfulness as you prepare for your practice.
Well, we were just told like the other day, things come into your mind constantly, but when you start to think about that, you can't really focus on the questions. They also said don't really talk to anyone beforehand or between breaks because they might tell you something that would come into your mind and interfere with you actually getting fully relaxed and taking the test. So just trying to, like you said, focus on one thing on your body, and anything that comes in, just block it out so it's not interfering with you.
Great point. Just thinking of it as a wave. As it floated in, just let it float out. I think that's a good point too, to kind of be to yourself during breaks is a great idea, I think. You know, to get water, use the restroom, but be to yourself so that you don't have any other additions to the things that you already have. Any other thoughts on how you might use any of this as you get yourselves?
If you're during the test and you're having issues, I mean, you can close your eyes for a second and breathe. That's not going to affect anyone around you or your test itself. Instead of freaking out about the whole thing, take a couple minutes to close your eyes and breathe.
Awesome.
Will you actually, the center yourself and the grounding, can we have those like emailed to us, the different things that was on that chart?
Yeah, definitely. Can I email it to you and then, another thing I want you to think I thought about here was self-compassion. If you get to a question that you don't know, don't beat yourself up over that. You know, be compassionate to yourself. I know that you all are learning, you know, other things and how to handle when that happens, but sometimes, I've talked to students where that throws the rest of their test off, and we don't want that to happen. You know, we don't want one question or two questions that really you're not sure about to throw the rest of your experience off. That's just, you know, you're human. That's just a question or two. Forgive yourself and be gentle to yourself, and think about, you know, don't let that destroy you, basically. But I do like the idea that you can use some of these in small doses during the test. I know that when we're timed, we can't do too much, but we can try some small things. We can do some of those on the chart. We can do some of those distractors. But I really do think as you prepare, you may have time to do some breaks in your studying with some mindfulness strategies. And we're using this, doing a lot of research now with this with teenagers on their tests with high stakes testing in their schools and testing for their SATs and things like that, because our kids are now experiencing more stress than ever when it comes to testing. And I'm sure you see that in your work. Thank you all so much for participating with us today. We hope that you have an awesome experience. Good luck. I can't wait to hear about your successes. I know that you all are going to do great. You've got this under control. You're going to pass this test. Rock it.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
Dr. Rickson. So if we're going to transition now, maybe 2 minutes, if y'all need to go to the restroom, you can. All those that are taking practice content stay in this room. Those of you that are taking Pearson, any of the Pearson tests, you're going to go to the room right across the hall. But it take about 2 minutes and then we'll come back to it.
I'm confident.
Yes.
Good job, Israel.